I broke these football matches down step by step and put together a strong parlay, selecting the most reliable options. We are also going to build a crazy parlay with huge odds of 71 from 4 selections, so make sure to watch till the end. Alright, let's not waste a second, let's get straight into the analysis. First parlay, first event. Real Valladolid vs Burgos. And this is exactly the kind of match where on paper it doesn't look like anything special, but if you break it down properly, a very interesting logic for goals appears. And I'll say it right away. I see a solid angle here that isn't obvious for everyone. Because Real Valladolid right now a very inconsistent team. One day they can look solid, the next day they collapse even against a weak opponent. And that loss to the worst team in the league is a perfect example. There is no balance. They create chances in attack, but the defense keeps failing. And now they also have squad issues. No main goalkeeper, no central defender, and that's critical. These problems hit the defensive structure much harder than the attack. And now they return home where they have to respond, and that's key. They will not sit back, they will push forward, because after a loss like that, they need to show a reaction. And that automatically makes the game more open. Buddy, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match analysis every day, and I always try to keep my subscribers in profit. I am also always happy to read fair criticism and your well-argued picks in the comments. I read everything. Thanks for the support, let's keep going. Now let's look at Burgos. On paper the result looked good. Points, wins, a solid run. But if you dig deeper, there is an important detail. They are extremely pragmatic, especially away. They know how to slow the game down, break the rhythm, fall, waste time if the score suits them. And at the same time, their attack is very weak. 1 goal in 6 matches, that's basically nothing. But defensively, they have looked solid recently. Only 1 goal conceded in 4 games. So here we get an interesting clash. A team that has to attack and take risks, and a team that plays from defense but doesn't have a strong attack. Usually that leads to a low-scoring game, but here's the nuance. Valladolid's defensive problems and their motivation to bounce back at home. They will push, create chances, and even if Burgos try to slow it down, opportunities will still come. And if the hosts score first, the game could open up even more, because Burgos would have to change their approach, and that's not their comfort zone. Also, Valladolid tend to score at home, even when they are inconsistent. And Burgos, despite their weak attack, can still find one moment, especially against a wicked defense. So for me, the picture is clear. Not a crazy open game, but a solid match with at least 2 goals thanks to the host pressure and possible response from the visitors. That's why I'm taking over 1.5 goals in the parlay, the safest and most logical option here. For risk, I would go with Burgos over 1 as a single, because they can capitalize on 1 chance. And for the crazy parlay, I'm taking BTTS yes plus over 2.5 at odds 2.9. For the scenario where the game opens up more than expected. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I am one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. Third parlay, second event. Granada vs Huesca. And this is exactly the kind of match where if you just look at the table everything seems obvious. Favorite versus a team in crisis. But if you break it down, a very clear game script appears. Granada really in form right now, and it's not just results. Their overall play has improved, especially at home. And the key point is their pragmatism. This is not a team that goes all-out attack. They control the tempo, limit opponents, and calmly get the result they need. The numbers confirm it. In 8 of their last 9 home matches, there were maximum 2 goals. That's not random, that's their system. Opponents also create very late, usually under 1 xg, which shows strong defensive structure. Now Huesca. Everything is bad here. Losing streak, 1 point in 5 games, worst away team in the league. And the biggest issue is not just results, but the actual play. They don't create chances, don't control possession, and look very weak in attack. Yes, there are occasionally flashes, but nothing consistent. So the picture is simple. Granada control the game without taking risks. Huesca sit deep and try not to collapse. Matches like this usually go under because one team doesn't want to risk and the other simply can't attack. Granada themselves aren't a high-scoring team either. They usually score just enough for win. Against this Huesca, that should be enough. so I'm not expecting an open game here. More like a classic 1-0 or 2-0. That's why I take 1x plus under 3.5 in the parlay. Granada shouldn't lose, and the game will not explode, as a symbol of Granada win. And for the crazy parlay, I'll take 1-2 plus BTTS yes at 3.4. A risky scenario where the game unexpectedly opens up. Second parlay first event, Scotland vs Japan. And this is exactly the kind of match where many people look at Japan's form and immediately back them. But if you break it down properly, the picture becomes much more interesting. Scotland at home are a completely different team. They don't just play better, they add aggression, tempo, pressure, and most importantly, they are not afraid to attack. Remember the 4-2 against Denmark? They kept pushing until the end. This is a team that imposes its style at home. And now they face Japan, a very organized and fast team, but one that prefers playing at its own tempo. Yes, Japan are in a great form. Strong qualification, wins in friendlies, even beat Brazil. But those games were against teams that allowed them to play. Scotland won. They bring physicality, pressure, constant duels, and in those conditions, Japan struggle more because they lose time and space. But there is another side. Scotland themselves play openly at home. They will attack, which means they will leave space. And Japan are perfect at exploiting space. Fast transitions, speed on the wings, good finishing. So for me, the picture is clear. Both teams will attack, no one will sit back, and this game should be played end-to-end. And the stats support it. Scotland score regularly at home, Japan also score consistent, even against strong teams. So results like 1-1, 2-1, 2-2 look very realistic. I don't see a close game here. That's why I take over 2 goals in the parlay, the base option. For risk, Scotland over 1 as a single. And for the crazy parlay, 1-2 plus BTTS yes at 2.9. For an open attacking game where both teams score and someone wins. Second parlay, second event, USA vs Belgium. And this is exactly the kind of match where many people still automatically favor the Europeans. But if you actually look at the current situation, it's not that simple at all. And there is a very interesting angle here. The USA national team are no longer a side you can underestimate. Under Mauricio Pochettino, they have become more structured and aggressive. 5 matches unbeaten, it's not random. It's the result of a system. And most important, they don't just collect results. They play forward, create chances, and finish them. That 5-1 win over Uruguay shows they can explode even against strong opponents. Add the home factor. Even in a friendly, playing in the USA gives them energy. Now Belgium, on paper still a top team, but in reality there are many issues. No Thibaut Courtois, huge loss for defense. Kevin De Bruyne is not at his peak yet. Romelu Lukaku isn't playing. That's their main striker gap. And in this condition, Belgium are no longer a dominant machine. They also had away problems, only 2 wins in 12 matches. And the key point, both teams are more about attack than defense right now. Belgium concede even against weaker teams, USA games often go with goals on both sides. So this looks like an open match where both teams create but don't defend well. I don't expect a close game here. USA will push it home, Belgium will respond with quality. And the match should go end-to-end. So for me, it's simple. USA will score, Belgium can respond, and the game becomes high-scoring. That's why I take USA over 1 goal in the Pro League. Very logical under these conditions. For risk, over 2.5 goals. And for the crazy parlay, 1x plus BTTS yes at 2.5. I hope you appreciated this detailed breakdown and dropped a like on the video.